chats in here before the stream started. We already got 2 likes. Like up the stream, y'all. Think we might have, RJ and VJC here in the stream tonight. RJ chatted earlier. VJC, me and him were talking back and forth. So, yeah, I'm really excited to get into it. I'm going to wait till, like, a lot more people join, obviously. And then I'm gonna get right into it with you guys, because I'm really interested in doing this. This has been a video idea of mine for a few weeks now, ever since I've seen guys like on YouTube, like Pro Wrestling Shoot, Just Brian, Kenny Bomb, Lex Express. I've been seeing all those guys, shout out to all of them, do some kind of video like this. And so I have a bunch of sticky notes over here on my side, and I'm just going to go through them. Obviously, we're going to probably make this stream for like at least an hour or two. Probably not any more than that, like about a minimum of an hour, maximum of 2 hours, I would say, but somewhere in that time frame. And we're literally just going to simply talk about what we love about W2K25 and then what we want to see in WWE 2K26. Whether it's something that you love about this year's game that you want to see come back and stay in the game for a long time, or it's something that you would like to be completely removed from the game. Um, Whether it's match types, different modes. Like I have, wish lists on here for like just specifically universe mode in my GM. I might add my own personal thoughts onto my faction as well, in the island and my rise and stuff like that. I didn't put any notes about that on here, but I will go into detail about that as well later. Just like kind of coming up with my own personal thoughts on all that. Um, like I said, match types, any returning features, which I know a lot of you guys want that, you old school gamers. Shout out to all y'all. And then just some new features, I guess I should say, that have never really been in there before. New, never before seen features. That is one big thing. Um, we've been live for 2 minutes now, and I'm gonna. Oh, it's funny I say that. 2 people just joined. Um, I'm gonna wait for a few people to get in here before I really go deep dive into what I have here. Make sure the live chat's still working and all that. I turned the live chat on and I had the description written, so we should be good. But yeah, I'm gonna let all you guys come in here. Like, literally feel free to speak your mind. If you play the WWE games and you have a thought about these games, type it in the chat, because I'm going to be giving you guys like free shout outs basically. And yes, just like this one guy. Hello, Veedster VR. Welcome to the stream, my guy. Um, do you play, like, do you either watch WWE or at least play any like wrestling video games? That's what we're here to talk about today in particular, is the gaming side of things. Um, because I have a lot of stuff here. I want to talk about the current game W225 and then also 2K26 that's supposed to be coming out um, around March of 2026. Oh, okay. Well, at least you were here. If you're not, I don't play any Gorilla Tag, but I do see people. I do watch videos of other people playing those games, so even though you're not much of a wrestling guy, at least welcome to the chat and everything. Shout out to you. I'm actually going to pull up my game for the heck of it. Why not? Just to kind of give me an idea. Oh, Gem1311 Doey Raw for PS2. Yeah, like, we got some old gamers in here, man. And shout out to you. I don't mean that in a bad way either. Like, I actually kind of want some of the hardcore folks in here because they can tell me stuff that they maybe notice aren't in older games and stuff that you liked about older games. So, like, that's honestly what we're here for today. Like, in all honesty, if you literally haven't played a game since like Raw, feel free to say like what you love about those like really older games, because I haven't played anything. I haven't played anything since before like WE12 yet. I haven't gone back and played any of the SVR games, but I plan to. I just haven't got around to it. Okay. Yeah, I mean, you do have wrestling. Okay, so that's cool. Uh, old move is what they call me. Cage matches. Is that something you want to see improve in the current games right now? Is steel cage matches? I'm gonna actually get into match types, so we can talk a little bit about more about that later. Actually, um, I'm actually turning on my system right now. Give me a second. Sorry if there's a glare and there's a light up there, but yeah. So like steel cage matches, I'm actually not even. Do you count Hell in a Cell as a steel cage match or any kind of cage match? Because one thing I want to put out there right now about Hell in a Cell is they really need to change. They really need to either go back to the old way that match hype used to work or change something about it. Because I hate the amount of limited stuff you can do outside the ring. It's fine when you're inside the ring or on top of the cell, but when you're on the outside area, you can't do a single thing. So that really bothers me. You used to be able to like hit people with steel stairs or chairs or like anything on the outside of the ring and stuff like that. You used to be able to grab stuff on the outside of the ring and not have to throw it back in. That's something that bugs me. Um, and being able to do like not just grab it, having freedom to like pass each other instead of getting stuck there. Like I notice when you're playing multi-man Hell in a Cell matches, it just never ends because you keep doing stuff like that. And also, hi Vivian 67. Yes, welcome to the stream. I've actually, yeah, I've seen people use that app, Veedster Streamlab. I have seen that, but I have not gotten it or figured out how to get it yet. So once I do, I'll probably do it in about another year when I actually like turn 18. But I'll probably worry about that in the future, not anytime soon. More chairs. What do you mean more chairs? I'm curious. Like different color chairs. I wish they would bring back the 2K20 weapon wheel where we had like a bunch of different versions of like steel. I'm gonna say it again. Steel chairs, sledgehammers, stuff like that, where it was all different colors, different designs. That would be cool. And yeah, Streamlab. I'm not on PS5 currently. I'm actually on old gen. And that's also something I wanted to talk about this on my notes either, because I know some of you guys are all about get 2K26 off of last gen consoles like Xbox One and PS4 so that, we can keep upgrading the hardware and stuff like that. And in a way, I agree, and I know I'm part of the problem when I say this, but to a certain extent, I don't want that to happen because I am on those older consoles. Like Xbox One is my main console, and I also have a PS4 that I play on too. So, in a way, I don't want them to move up just yet because I can't afford a PS5 or an Xbox Series yet. But at the same time, I know that at some point 2K needs to switch into those to make it easier for everyone to play. That's just my opinion as well. I know I'm part of the problem when I say that, but I just don't want them to in a way. Um, it's pretty easy, but I understand. Yeah, yeah. Uh, like a whole palette of them. I mean, that's such a weird request, but in a way, I kind of like it. Um, and what's that? What do you mean? What's that? I don't know what you meant by that when you said. What were we talking when you said that? I'm sorry. Uh, oh, I set my remote over here. Okay. Going back to our original setting here. Okay, so yeah, there's a lot of stuff I have over here written down. I'll go into it with some of you guys. Some people are still in the process of joining the stream who follow me on like YouTube and Discord and all that stuff. But also guys, if you have Discord, I would love for you to join my Discord server that I have linked in one of my posts. That would be really cool because I'm trying to grow a platform over there, community and stuff. But nonetheless, we get to certain things I have written down here. PS4 and PS5 make it easy to stream games straight from the console. You don't need a streaming CPU or anything to do it. Yeah, see, the way I do it is, again, shout out to one of my other platforms I actually use called Twitch, where I can stream directly from my Xbox One to my Twitch account. And usually, W225 is if you go to my channel and you see gaming videos, I actually do it from Twitch, but I export them to YouTube. And that's how I make like the gaming videos that you see on my YouTube channel. I know people can do it straight from PlayStation to YouTube. I know that's a thing, but I don't think it's like live when they do it. I think it's like pre-recorded and then you post it. So I just prefer doing it on Twitch personally. But I do know there's a way to do it from PlayStation the same way as well. I think uh, Twitch might actually work through PlayStation too. I don't know if there's a way. Correct me if I'm wrong, but there might actually be a way to use Twitch on PlayStation consoles as well. You should make a video about Quest 3 if you can get on. Yeah, so the thing is, I'm guessing you're talking about the island. That's something else I want to talk about. We have a lot to talk about here tonight, and I'm going to try to make it, like, no more than, like, 2 hours long, hopefully. But, if they keep the island around next year, which I think 2K most likely will, knowing it makes them a lot of money, that's what they want. And I even have the Blood Edition cover, if you can see. bloodline hat with it to fit the vibe. But if they keep the island around next year, they need to call it something else, because the island should only be something that is referred to Roman Reigns being the cover star of the game, obviously. And so, say if like CM Punk's the cover of the game, then what would they rebrand it as? Like, WWE's got the island, NBA's got the city, um, stuff like that. And I know I cannot really get to your request because I play on last gen consoles and I don't actually have access to the island, unfortunately. So even if I could, I can't really help you on that. I definitely recommend checking out a YouTuber named Kenny Bomb, though. If you don't follow him, definitely do that, because he makes a lot of content about the island. I would check some of his videos and tutorials out on that. Um, he usually makes good content about that. But when it comes to the match types, like I was talking about wanting to improve Hell in a Cell matches earlier and the freedom you're able to do in that. But I more so want to talk about returning match types or even brand new match types that are never before seen in next year's game. That being, I'm just going to go through them here. We got the I Quit match. I actually call these matches the three big guys that I want in the game: the I Quit match, the Iron Survivor match, and the Inferno match. The I Quit and the Inferno match would be returning match types. We haven't seen those match types in the game since like WWE 2K17 on the PS3, which I actually have, by the way. I'm able to play those matches. But yeah, that was the last game that they were ever available in, I'm pretty sure. And Iron Survivor is one that I just really want in there. If y'all don't know, it's a match from NXT. It's kind of like a combination of like an Iron Man match and Elimination Chamber match, sort of. They like, when you get pinned, they get locked in these pods, and it basically is whoever has the most amount of falls in the end of that time limit. So it's kind of like an Iron Man match, but with a little twist to it. And also, hey Leo, welcome to the stream, buddy. Good to see you, man. Yeah, we're getting into the match types right now. Just talking about that a little bit. The three big guys is one, because I Quit and Inferno, I would love to see those match types return, and then also add Iron Survivor match to the game. I really want to see that one. I would also love to see the return of Buried Alive matches that I have on here as well. I know that's one a lot of people request. I'd say Buried Alive and Three Stages of Hell. Those two match types typically get requested a lot on here. I see those a lot, and I honestly would not mind seeing those in the game. We also got Tag Team Gauntlet match, which is something new I would love to see them add, and then Tag Team Elimination Chamber, which, if y'all don't know, that actually used to be in the game. It was in 2K14 and 2K15, I believe, maybe 2K16, 17. I think it was in that era of the games, where you actually were able to like recreate the Shield versus the Wyatt family in the Elimination Chamber tag team matches. That actually used to be a thing, and I would not mind seeing that return. I'm going to catch up on some comments here while I'm doing. So, they're coming out with a VR that's like glasses, but they use hand tracking. You can play other VR games on it. Oh, I would love to get a VR. That would be cool. And yes, Jim, that is actually a returning feature. I think it's on my list. I'm going to get to that later. Free roam and backstage fights. Please. Yes, I agree 1000% with you. Also, hi, Sans. Welcome to the chat. Yeah, guys, keep adding what you want to see in 2K26. Whether it don't even have to be a new feature. It can be something that returns that you want to see. We're going to get into a lot of stuff, trust me. Another thing that I had on here that I want to add is 10-man matches, whether it be like normal tag team and then also war games. Because if you notice, Dewey's been making realistic Survivor Series War Games matches now that have not just 8 people, 4v4, but now it's 5v5, which makes 10 people total. So they really need to add a bunch of 10-man matches. Like, I'm thinking have at least 10 people in the ring in the same time, whether it's a tag team match, a War Games match, a Battle Royal, or a Royal Rumble. We need to have the capability to have at least 10 people in the ring at the same time. And the only contradiction to that is I'm thinking they will have to move to next-gen consoles only, like PS5 and Xbox Series, if that's going to be a possibility, unfortunately. Which means I probably will have to skip the game 2K26, possibly 2K27 if I can't afford a new console just yet, because it might take me a couple years, but I'm hoping to get back into it, get a new console, start getting the games again, being able to play it. But for now, you might see some more 2K25 Universe Mode videos from that series from me, and also my GM Mode series that I got with VJC. I don't think he's in the chat right now, but I do a thing with him where we play GM Mode online, and that's been a lot of fun. So I'm thinking on continuing that before 2K26 comes out as well. I think that's pretty much it for the match types, y'all. Definitely let me know down below if y'all would add anything at all to that list. I'm just curious. I really wish I had a lot more people in here and a lot more support, but it's all good. Next, I would like to get into think this is returning features here. I can't hardly see it, but yes, returning features. So, oh, sorry. Okay, so for returning features, I have a bunch of stuff on here. The top two being create a story and create a finisher. There you go. Create a story and create a finisher. It might be kind of blurry. Hopefully, y'all can see that. But create a story has been one that's been heavily recommended by a lot of people I know. A lot of creative people out there, like Leo, who's my best friend. I've had him in the stream before. He was in the chat a minute ago. He is someone that would love create a story to come back. Because there's just so many things people can recreate or even create for themselves that they can't currently do in the games. They haven't been able to do it since 2K14. That game came out over 10 years ago. Think about that for a second. Let that sink in. So, and then same thing with create a finisher, which I would personally rather have back in the game. Being able to create your own signature finisher move, even if it's like a comeback or a taunt, having more creation and more freedom to do what you want in these games, that is something that is so small but also so huge at the same time. It would be such a huge step for the franchise, in my opinion. They really need to add that back. Also, a beloved mode I see a lot of people want back is Road to WrestleMania, which, look, that hasn't been in the game since WWE12. It's been at least 12 or 13 years since that game came out, okay? So it's been a long time. I want it to come back, but I just personally don't see it happening, because if they already have, I'm going to say a 6 or 7, funny, game modes in there at this point with, you know, I count Exhibition as game mode too, because like you got Exhibition, you got My Faction, you got My Rise, you got Universe, My GM, and you also got Showcase mode, which is my personal favorite. And then they also, for new gen users, they also have the Island. So that's 7 game modes right there. And if they add Road to WrestleMania, that would be another one, which would be 8 total. There's a couple problems with that. Number one, I don't think they would have 8 game modes in the game, because that's just a lot. And number two, I think several of the modes that I see here would basically be story modes or season modes or whatever you want to call it. Like, I know it used to be called season mode and in my career as well back in the day. But I feel like if they were to add Road to WrestleMania, it would basically be the replacement of My Rise. Or if y'all remember, WWE 13 was the first game without Road to WrestleMania. They introduced Showcase mode, which is still around to this day. Showcase was what basically replaced Road to WrestleMania mode back in the day. And they could just switch it around where they remove Showcase mode, which, in my opinion, I don't want them to do. I'm actually a lover of Showcase mode. I know some of you may not be, but it's personally my favorite mode to play. Especially when you go back to games like 2K14, 15, 16, those were great Showcase modes. 225 Showcase is alright too, other than just the objectives being very tedious. And it just doesn't have much replay value. But other than that, it's alright. I'm glad that, this year they made it to where there are in-game cutscenes and no more slingshot technology. Thank God they removed that. And then also having commentary in there as well. It just makes it feel a lot more realistic. They really did good on the Showcase this year, in my opinion, but there's just something missing for me, man. Maybe they need to add, like, quick time events back into Showcase mode or something. I don't know, because there's just a missing piece for me, something that I don't know what it is, but I just can't get behind it. And I just realized that, yep, VJC just messaged me. Shoot. Y'all, it's happening again, I think. Do I got 2 people? Yeah, okay, hold on. Y'all, they did it again. So if y'all... This is dumb. I know, if you're watching the stream right now, BJC, if you got back in here, they just gave me the 13 to 15 years of age message again. Anyways, message me, whether it's through Discord or however you want to do it, which is where you went to. Message me and let me know if you would like to see me continue this and just not have a live chat. Because if I restart the stream, there's just not going to be a live chat at all. So either way, I'm cooked. But I already got 20 minutes into this, and I was really excited to record this. So I almost don't want to stop going with what I was trying to say. Um, Message me back real quick and let me know on that. I honestly forgot where I was going with it because I just now noticed that it stopped working. Anyway, I got a Gmail and then I noticed it on YouTube, so yeah, it went away. Regardless, I don't. I would love for Address May to come back, but I just don't see them adding it back. Okay, good to know. Yeah, I would love to see them add Address May back and have it be in the game again, but it would probably come at the expense of My Rise or Showcase Mode. It would probably be one of them two that would go away. And another thing I would consider on them doing, which me and BJC actually talked about in the past before, is combining Universe Mode and My GM. Later on, I'm going to talk about those two modes, but I would combine them to where Universe Mode basically has a draft set up in it. And My GM, some of the features in My GM can come to Universe Mode, like tag team call out promos. I'm going to talk more about Universe Mode later, though, so we'll get into that. There's more returning features I have on here. OMG moments. I feel like that's a fan favorite thing. I don't know if it's maybe just me, because I don't hear a lot of people talk about it anymore nowadays when it comes to nostalgic wise. But I really want to see 2K19 backstage brawls back in the game. If y'all remember that, when they actually had OMG moments in there, and you were able to do some crazy stuff, like you were able to go to the locker rooms and the like the GM's office, whether it was like Vince, Stephanie, Triple H. They had like different people set up there, and like I really miss being able to do all that. They had it from like 2K17 to 2K19, I believe. I specifically said 2K19, but it was also 2K18 too. Yeah. They had it in those games, and I really want that to return personally. That's a personal favorite of mine. And just in general, really OMG moments. Like another thing I have on here is so simple that they can add. It's just like a little thing that would make a big difference in my opinion. Being able to stack tables. Like having one table on top of another and stacking them. That is one thing I would also have them do. Because you used to be able to do like a superplex to the outside of the ring through two tables. Just something wild and crazy like that. I would love to see that. Which also brings me into another topic I have. Shout out to Jesse from the Pro Wrestling Shoot with this one. But better weapon physics and updated animations from SVR 2011. A lot of people praise that game because of the amount of stuff you were able to do with weapons in that game. If you wanted to do like a ladder match or a TLC match or any kind of Extreme Rules match you can possibly think of, you were able to do so much in that game with the physics that they had in there. And I even would beg to say there were so many OMG moments in it. Just being able to like throw it. Well, you weren't really able to throw chairs back then, which is nice now. But if you were able to like easily throw them from a ladder through a table and a bunch of crazy stuff like that. I don't even remember exactly all it included, but like if you go back and play that game, you'll see what I mean. And if you've played it before, like you'll know. It was just so crazy to be able to do all that stuff, and it was just so great, man. It really was very great. The only other thing I have for returning features on here, which I wish y'all could let me know other ones, but YouTube, thank you. Diving finishers will be another thing I have. So this year they added diving finishers where you can do it off the top of a ladder, and that was cool. But now I would do it. I would add being able to do diving finishers off the top of the elimination chamber pod, or even off the top rope through just a standard table in the middle of the ring. Like you can do it from a ladder or through the announce table and stuff like that. But being able to do it just through a standard table and what was it, off the top of the elimination chamber pod. Something as small and insignificant as that. Like I want to see RVD flying off the top of the chamber pod with his 5-star frog splash and hitting somebody. Like imagine how much that would impact somebody. Just the little things like that, dude. I probably won't go on as long as I thought I would because I was more wanting the YouTube community to chat with me, but looks like we ain't getting that. And then might have to wait a while for this, guys, because I don't know why it ain't cooperating with me. But new features. We were talking about returning features just now, and I noticed that some of the new features I have on here actually used to be in the game. Like, I think the 5 count I added as a new feature, but I think it actually used to be in, like, older SVR games, but I only count it as a new feature because it hasn't been in the game, I don't think, in, like, 20 years. It's been, like, a long time. But that's one thing I would add is, like, the 5 count, like, 1, 2, 3, 4, let go, whatever. Something as small as that, and then also crawling to the ropes during a submission. A little thing that irks me in the game is when you're in the middle of a submission, right? And the ref calls a rope break. Well, your hand isn't even touching or grabbing onto the ropes. Like, you're supposed to like grab onto it, but all they do is like have their hand under it or something. And it's just something as small as that that irks me, because you should actually physically have your hands holding onto the ropes, in my opinion. That just bugs me for whatever reason. Crossplay is a huge thing for a lot of people. I know we used to have like cross-gen community creation servers where Xbox and PlayStation could actually download each other's stuff. They completely took that away this year when they added the island. So now it's exclusive to like versus last gen versus new gen consoles. Like PS5 has shares with Xbox Series, and PS4 and Xbox One share communication. The Nintendo Switch this year don't even have any type of communications, I don't think. So like they can't even download any custom images or anything like that. So it's just all a mess, really. The communications, it was fine in 2K23, I would say, but and VJC agrees with me on that too. Yeah, we really need crossplay, not even just in community creations, but also in online servers. And then that also brings me to one of my last points here about new features: better online servers. Listen to that, 2K, because I see people like Lex Express on here doing his LWF league that he has going on over there on his channel, and the online servers, when you pretty much do anything more than like a triple threat or a fatal 4 match, it sucks, dude. You can't even get, like, me and VJC were playing one-on-one matches and we were doing fine, but sometimes those fatal 4 matches, man, they can get laggy as crap. And that is something that, especially if they're going to build modes like the island and they're going to expand on that, there needs to be better online servers other than just like one-on-one standard matches. That is something that absolutely is a must need, must fix. Um, and then the last thing I have on here is just simply more call slots, more creator wrestler slots. We only have 100 this year, but and we have for the past several years as far as I can think back now. But that's really not enough if you're someone that wants to download like AEW wrestlers, TNA wrestlers, even alternate attires, promo attires for people like in Universe Mode, for example, which I'm getting ready to get to that in a second. But just different stuff with call slots. And also, there used to be this feature in older games, I think it was called like Superstar Threads, where basically if you wanted to create an alternate attire, you would easily be able to apply it to that superstar and not have to create an entire new slot for it. So that would make things way easier. If we had more call slots and also Superstar Threads, that would make things a lot easier for creators out there like What's the Status and Witty Witterson, so they don't have to like keep downloading and deleting their creations. And then I have a bunch of stuff scrambled up here. Sorry, guys. Here we go. Universe mode. It's a big one for both me and Leo. Leo actually gave me a lot of these suggestions, and I added some of my own too. Show intros. I also would say with Pyro. Basically insert the show intros that you had in 2K18, 2K19, all those games that had, like, it started in 2012, I think. All of those show intros, and put it back in the game. Including the superstar, images that you would have pop up on the screen. Like, I think a 2015, 2016 roster, I'm thinking this. Like, when I first actually got into wrestling. Those show intros, and then the pyro that pops up on the screen. Including the theme songs, too, I'm sure, if they could get that in there. VJC says, yeah, so we did a John Cena gauntlet match, in one of my last streams, and it did not work because it had 8 people in an online server, and apparently 2K servers cannot handle that. So we need better online servers! Exclamation mark. Please. Universe mode needs a draft. I'm getting ready to get to that. And yeah, intros and pyro as well. Yes. So I actually have the draft on here as well. I was going to get to that last. I say draft parentheses optional. I emphasize optional because a lot of people may not want that option. But there used to be a thing in Universe Mode, I'm pretty sure, where there was like a toggle option if you wanted a draft or not. If you clicked yes, then you would get it. If you click no, then you just don't get it. And you should have the option to either do that like before you start the Classic Mode and Universe Mode. So that way you can start off your Universe Mode with a draft, kind of like my GM does for you. Or it can even be like after the WrestleMania season, basically like what I plan to do with my actual Universe Mode series. Being able to have draft in Universe Mode, which I would turn the toggle on, obviously, because I would love to have a draft in Universe Mode. So yes, I would definitely add that as an option, 100%. And also for you guys joining, yes, I'm aware the chat isn't working. There's nothing I can do. Sorry, guys. I was hoping to be able to chat with the YouTube community on here, and that's the whole reason I went live, obviously, but it's not working out, unfortunately. YouTube thinks I'm way older or way younger than I sound because I look too young to be on here for whatever reason. So anyway, um, this is kind of a combination of matches and universe mode. However you want to interpret this. Number one contender matches. So like I know we already have gauntlet matches and all kinds of different match types in the game that you can easily use as a number one contender match. But I guess what I mean by that is having a some sort of storyline or cutscene that you get when a person wins a number one contenders match. That way they can get like a world title match at the next PLE and it automatically grants them that. 2K knows how to implement that into the game because if you guys didn't know, they added King of the Ring tournaments back into Universe mode this year, and they actually have it set up where the winner of those tournaments gets the world title shot at SummerSlam. From what I've seen when other people do it, it actually works. So they know how to do that. They just have to add that for like Raw and SmackDown for like extra PLEs instead of just King and Queen of the Ring to SummerSlam. If they could add that for every single show, that would be amazing. And I also kind of mentioned it here, but custom storylines. Having more, I know they have this free mode thing, but it really isn't as free as they make it out to be, because sometimes it doesn't even let you do anything. Um, Having the option to be able to create more storylines for creative people like Leo, for example, who loves playing universe mode. It's like his favorite thing in the whole world to do. And there's just not enough creativity for us to be able to do in these games. I actually kind of miss some of the older games like 2K18 and before when the cutscenes were like completely random in a way. But some people didn't like that, and some people like the way it's set up now. But if they're going to do it the way it's set up now, we need to have the options to be able to enable these cutscenes that we want to happen. Because sometimes we can't even get it to work properly. So that really needs to be addressed. Um, and then the only other thing I have is longer slash custom promos, more promo options just in general. There's this one option in my GM actually where you can do a tag team call out promo, and I want that to be a thing in universe mode. It's weird that we don't have tag team promos in universe mode. All we got is one-on-one promos. There's a self promo, there's a call out, and there's like an issue open challenge promo. That's all you got. It's basically you issue an open challenge and the match starts like right away, or you do a self promo with just one guy, or you can like have one guy call out another guy. That's pretty much, there's only like 3 options that we get and a couple different cutscenes for both, but it's pretty much the same exact thing. They call it like call out, promo, interrupt. It's like the same thing, but having so many more options, man, being able to, I've seen so many ideas that people have come up with when it comes to this. Being able to have a text box to type what the wrestlers want to say, or rather just being able to hear what they have to say, because it gets annoying when they're just on the mic and they're like, they don't say anything. So being able to like hear them actually speak English on the microphone, that would be great. That sounds so complicated, but it really isn't. Just literally having them speak or being able to maybe implement AI of some sort, since that's been going around lately, and having AI voices talk for them. If you can't get the rights to actually have them speak on the microphone, which sounds crazy, but something like that would literally be all I would ask for. And then also not just one-on-one promos, but also promos involving like tag teams and even factions if they go that far with it, although I doubt it. But being able to have tag team promo call-outs, like there's an option for that in my GM. Something as small as that would make promos feel a lot more fun. And then VJC also just said, I wouldn't even mind subtitles for the promos. Yeah, that's kind of in the line with what I was going with, I think. Um, Having an already written dialogue out for the promos, and even if the superstars aren't talking, at least have some kind of words so I can understand what the heck what kind of direction they're going in. Because when I am going to do promos in universe mode, I don't know how I'm going to tell that story. So when there was a promo on Raw one time, I think it was like Gunther and Seth Rollins, I just completely skipped it because I didn't know what to do. Like, if they're just sitting there not talking, like, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to how am I supposed to tell this story? Because they give me like no idea of what they're even going to say, and it just that bothers me. I would love to be able to actually understand um, why they're calling them out or why they're issuing this open challenge that they're issuing. Can they put titles on the line in open challenges as well, like you used to be able to do, or like they do IRL, like how Sami Zayn and John Cena have their US title open challenges. Being able to do that in Universe Mode and actually put titles on the line. Also having them wear their championships during promos. That doesn't sound like a huge thing either, but apparently 2K can never get that right, because that was never in older games either. But having Seth Rollins come out with the World Heavyweight Championship during a promo if he's the champion, or in my case, like CM Punk, he's the world champion, having Punk with the world title around his waist when he comes out for a promo, that's such a small thing. But being able to issue an open challenge right then and there, or for the main event of Raw, and putting the title on the line, that would be a great addition to the game. Just saying. I think that's pretty much all we got for Universe Mode, unless you can add anything else that you would prefer, VJC, because you were pretty much the only one that can communicate with me right now. I've been, like, noticing your Discord messages, so I'm looking, trust me. And then we got our favorite thing that we love to do together, My GM. So, this isn't even really a live stream. This is just a video at this point. This isn't even a stream. This is just a video. But, because I'm going to make this public afterwards and just have the comment section go wild. Ooh, what did you say? Ooh, that's such a small thing. Before we get into My GM, I want to add what you just said. How about having a general manager for your shows on Universe Mode? That's such a small thing. Why can't we have, as an IRL example, Adam Pearce, Nick Aldis, and Ava on the shows, directing everything that goes on? And you can even have Triple H, Shawn Michaels, because they have manager attires in the game, I believe, as well, from their, like, My GM attires. And I'm actually going to transition to My GM because of that. I would want there to be more wrestler GMs in My GM. Like, we have CM Punk, who they just, like, randomly added as a GM. I don't really know why they did it. Just to get his 2K24 attire in there? I'm not really sure. But they added CM Punk as a manager, I noticed, and they have, like, Sonya Deville, Kurt Angle, I believe it was, William Regal, all the people that you've seen that are not just wrestlers, but they've also been known to be popular general managers. So I found it random at the beginning of the year when they added CM Punk as a GM in My GM mode. Why can't you just, at this point, add every single wrestler as a GM? Add Roman Reigns, add Seth Rollins, add Cody Rhodes, make them all GM. Cody Rhodes would make sense because he literally wears a suit. So literally put Cody Rhodes in a GM attire so that we can have basically a promo / GM outfit for him. That would be perfect. And then also would, yeah, and then since Universe Mode is a sandbox mode, it's a sandbox mode, right? Why not letting us have anyone we want be a general manager? Don't even have to be a GM. It can be a wrestler. It can be CM Punk for all I care. Like, why can't we add... This is why they need to combine Universe Mode and My GM Mode, because there's a lot of great points that we're bringing up, like the draft and the promos and the GMs and everything, that they could just mesh together, dude. It's really not that hard. One big thing that we talk about is being able to play the matches online. When we're doing our My GM Mode series, we can't play the matches. We only have the option to simulate them. But I believe when you're doing offline, you can actually, like, have the option to watch the matches or play the matches or pretty much determine the outcome of what you want to do. Versus online, you have no freedom to do that whatsoever. I would say a couple things here, kind of combining them a little bit. But 5 to 6 players instead of 4 when you're going... It don't matter if you're offline or online. They only allow you to be in a lobby of up to 4 people at one time, which I think could be due to the online servers is one thing too. But why can't you have up to, like, 8 brands or something? I even said 5 to 6, but why not, like, 7 or 8 as well? You know, just having the option to, like, because what if you have a party of 5? Just think about this. What if you have a party of 5, but you can only do up to 4, so you have to leave an odd man out? Think about how sad that could be. If you're someone that's in that situation, like you're stuck, you can't do more than 4 people. Just why, you know? And then another big thing would be more match types. So I specifically said 5 to 6 man match types, but what you could also interpret from that would also be like Royal Rumble, Elimination Chamber, Money in the Bank ladder matches. Especially the latter of the two, I said. Royal Rumble is harder to do because you can't really have 10-man matches just yet, so you can't do a 10-man Battle Royal either. If they had that match type, then maybe you could. But even if you were be able to do up to 6-man matches, then you should be able to do like Money in the Bank ladder matches on PLEs and be able to crown a Money in the Bank and, like, have cash-in situations actually happen in your GM mode like they do in Universe Mode, or they're supposed to do in Universe Mode anyway. Sometimes it don't work half right, but having the option to do so would be great. And And same thing with Elimination Chamber on the road to WrestleMania, being able to crown a number one contender in that sort of situation. You know, in Royal Rumble, they could kind of improvise a little bit. They could do Battle Royal instead of Royal Rumble. But at least have the stipulations in the game for us to do, so the calendar in GM mode is actually realistic to what's happening in real life. That's a huge thing. We've been going on for 40 minutes here. We can keep it going for another 20 minutes if y'all want. If 2K were to combine Universe and GM mode, that new Universe mode could truly be a Universe mode that is from 2K and not a leftover mode by THQ. Yeah, so he mentioned a great point. Supposedly, Universe mode actually is an engine that they copied from THQ. It's not really their own true Universe mode, because a lot of the cutscenes that they copied, or a lot of the cutscenes that came from THQ, they just left in there. Like, THQ had their own Universe mode built from, if you think about it, SmackDown vs. Raw 2011, I believe, when they first introduced it, until, like, WWE13 or 2K14, which they primarily made, from what I heard. And it wasn't really 2K's game until 2K15. So they basically left everything that was already in there. They didn't really remove much of it, I don't think. And then they added their own little spin onto it. But it hasn't felt like truly their own yet, and it won't until they combine Universe and MyGM, or they remove those modes for a year and then add them back into the game, which is not something I think they should do, but it's something that I could see them doing. Just because everybody talks about how they're interested in those modes and how much they hate the modes because they're so limiting to what they can do. That's why I have my wish list for those modes aren't really long in particular, but that's also because there's small little details, in my opinion, that would just make the game so much better to play. I love a lot of things about this game. I love the amount of roster superstars that we have, like 300 plus superstars. It might be like 400 now because of all the persona cards in my faction. But we have so many playable superstars in the game, and that's one thing that I really love about it. You know, you can pretty much use almost any current day or legend member of the roster that you can possibly think of, and then they're there. They're in the game. So there's a lot of good things to credit them for that they added in the past few years, but then there's also a lot of things that they need to get downed upon, basically, where they haven't added it back into the game yet. Create a story, create a finisher. My faction and the island need to be not so, like, money spent type of modes. Like, I love playing the World Tour mode, and they were supposed to update it, but 2K has yet to do so. So we're all just waiting here for, like, the actual fun part that some people like about my faction, and they're just not adding it back into the game, which has gotten on a lot of people's nerves, including myself, honestly. I like to go in and play the live events in the weekly towers, but that doesn't typically keep me occupied for very long. Like, they just have the monthly stuff I can go in there to do, and then that's pretty much it. There's not a lot of creative freedom there at all. Yeah, creative story, because we were talking about that earlier. Yeah, I would personally prefer creative finisher, but I know, like, you and Leo have talked about different things that you would be able to do with creative story. Being able to create your own storyline, or even replicate past Dewey storylines in-game. Something as small as that would be enough. I know the only thing people would hate about it is the first year they add create a story, you know it's going to be super limited. But if they take a couple years once they move to just new generation consoles and they take the time to expand on it, I definitely think that mode could be really worth it. Especially for creators like What's the Status and Woody Weirson and all them who actually could upload their own stories and people could download them and play them. That would be huge, dude. Yeah, so I'm going to read this Gmail real quick. 30 minutes ago. So I only really had a live chat for like 15 minutes. I didn't realize it till about 5 minutes. I realized it about 20 minutes, but they took it down like 15 minutes in. Said your live stream violated YouTube's community guidelines and the live chat has been disabled. We've reviewed your live stream and we think it features minors 13 15 years old, which it does not, who are not visibly accompanied by an adult, which I am not. But again, I'm not that young. Pursuant to our child safety policy, we've disabled live chat in this live stream. So that's why, if you guys are joining last second, I did have a chat in here for a little bit, I promise. For 15 good minutes, for 15 solid minutes. There was actually a couple new people in here that I was talking to that I'd never seen in the chat before. And now it is all gone. So, I'm not going to say my official age on here, but I'm just going to say I'm not 13 to 15 years old. Or younger. I'm above the age of 15. So I should not be getting my live chat taken down on the YouTube. But it is what it is. We gonna roll with it. We gonna try again in a couple months because sometimes it comes back on. It worked for a couple watch along streams that I did. So I don't know why they just now found it. Whatever. I could send another help note and deal with all that later. But yeah, create a story. I think we were just talking about because that was one thing he mentioned. You could even make a what if story. Yeah, that was another thing. So there's so many possibilities I mentioned with that. A what if story, a never before seen type of thing, and then also just replicate what is going on regular every weekly television. Whether it's WWE, AW, TNA, there's a lot of stuff that if you could download custom superstars and create custom stories, that would bring a lot of people back into the game. I feel like I'm gonna turn my controller back on and actually just look around at some stuff here, just maybe to give me some more ideas here. I know we haven't really talked about some of the modes much. Like I went to showcase a little bit earlier, just talking about how I feel like they did good improving on it this year with the Bloodline showcase, but there's just some kind of X factor that's missing. One of the things I was thinking about was like the quick timing events. It used to be in I think it was in 2K15 and 2K16 showcase mode. That kind of brought some fun into it. And then I think they removed it shortly thereafter. 2K17 had a DLC showcase, 2K18 didn't have a showcase, and then 2K19 showcase was when it started to feel it was alright, but it was also kind of like meh. It was only good because 2K19's gameplay was just so good, all around. Really, it was a great game, but showcase really since 2K16 has not felt the same. 2K25 tried to replicate the showcase magic, but they just did not. Something was missing. Something wasn't. I don't know. Something wasn't clicking for me. I still love the mode. It's my favorite thing to do on there, but it has no replay value like the older games had back 10 years ago now. And that's crazy to say because everything should be better than it was 10 years ago, yet we're here complaining, asking for stuff that was in there 10 years ago that ain't in there now. So, I don't know, man. My Rise, they could. How we were talking about combining Universe and MyGM, they could possibly combine My Rise and the Island, I'm thinking. Put a career story into the Island just because that's basically what NBA 2K does with their career mode. They have My Career implemented with their mode called The City, and that's basically how NBA has it set up, and I could see WWE going in that route as well. But if they have basically two story modes in there already with My Rise and Showcase, I don't see them adding Road to WrestleMania in there without replacing one or the other. I could see them in the future possibly going down the road of trying to maybe replace Showcase with Road to WrestleMania, but even that I see as unlikely. So, I don't know. And then My Faction, I know a lot of y'all have some negative things to say about My Faction, but personally, it's one of my favorite modes to play. I'm a bit of a card collector, so that could be why. But I also usually play no money spent on My Faction. I do not give them a dime. The only time I paid for the game was when I actually paid for the Dead Man edition of the game on Xbox One. And I also just paid for the John Cena Farewell Tour Edition DLC recently, which, if you haven't checked that gameplay video out, definitely go and do that, because you can comment in that video. Yeah, I'm going to jab YouTube the whole night, probably. But, yeah, definitely check that out. Because me and BJC played with the Farewell Tour Edition, and then we also played some IGM mode online, so we had a lot of fun there. But back to My Faction and that conversation, I love being able to play the live events. I love being able to play the weekly towers, and I also love being able to play with the World Tour mode whenever they actually update it frequently. But the thing is, they haven't really done a good job of doing that lately. I don't really care for the online gameplay too much, but I do still think they need better online servers. And then the last thing I will conclude with that, I think, is, unless y'all have anything else to say, is pretty much just being able to make it easier for no money spent players like me. I don't want to have to spend $100 to get a TNA version of AJ Styles. It's literally just like a skin with a theme song. So I just downloaded off Community Creations because I just really wanted the theme song. And then same thing with Slow Chemical, Kane, My Time, Triple H. They added all these really cool looking Persona cards into My Faction, which Slow Chemical Kane never came out, by the way, and they banned Witty for no reason, basically, for all that. But they need to be a lot... Yeah, I wish the My Faction cards packs weren't so expensive. Hallelujah, dude. Hallelujah, man. And then another thing you said is, I believe SummerSlam 1993 was supposed to be Hulk Hogan versus Bret Hart, with Bret beating Hogan and Hogan leaving after that, but that never happened. And Hogan left after King of the Ring. We can make that story with Create a Story. Yes. If you literally had your heart's desire to create that kind of story, that should be in the game. It is literally a video game, folks. Remember that. This is not real life. I think they noticed that this year a little bit when they added intergender wrestling back in the game. Because for a while there, we were like, we don't want to have different sexuality fighting, like male versus female. But I think this year they finally came to their senses with that, and we're like, we'll add intergender wrestling for you guys that want to go crazy. It's just a video game after all. They need to have that same mentality with Create a Story. I don't know why they haven't done it yet. If they have the laziness, if that's what it is, or if there's some kind of copyright issue that they run with. But I just know that it used to be in the game, so why can they not put it back into the game now? I guarantee you they probably still have some of those old cutscenes from THQ that they could just re-put back in the game. It really does not sound that hard. But again, I'm not a game developer, so maybe that stuff is more complicated than people realize. I'm not a game developer. I don't talk to any game developers. I don't really know anything. I'm just here to speculate on what I think and what I want to see here in the next iteration of this year's game. Because I love playing wrestling video games. I played wrestling video games pretty much since I started watching WWE back in 2016. I pretty much played it for like over half of my life. Actually, yeah, half of my life. Started when I was like 8 years old, and I'm like twice that age now. So basically, I've watched WWE and played WWE games half of my lifetime. So, I'm really passionate about this kind of thing. Whether it's IRL WWE and the current product, because we have a lot to talk about there too, but I ain't going to do any of that in this video. And then stuff when it comes to like WWE 2K25 and the next year's game that's supposed to be coming out, WWE 2K26. Another small thing that I definitely want to talk about before we end the stream that I will say is I think there's a strong possibility that we could possibly get WWE 2K26 WWE versus TNA, because WWE, right around the time 2K25 came out last year, signed this big deal with TNA, and we saw some TNA superstars in the game. Like, we saw Abyss come in, we saw Jordan Grace with her NXT presentation that it was at that point, but we saw some TNA superstars actually get implemented in the game. Abyss, the monster, who was never even in WWE, he was TNA only pretty much his whole career, and he had his whole TNA representation in a WWE video game. So that was crazy to see. And now next year, I'm hoping that we get a big TNA DLC pack, which that's another thing we can talk about is predictions for DLC lineups next year. But I think we should get a TNA DLC or some kind of pre-order bonus where we can unlock Joe Hendry, the Hardy Boys, superstars like that are currently signed to TNA, which they've been showing up on NXT a lot here lately because like the Hardy Boys just won the NXT Tag Team titles. And I think Joe Hendry may or may not actually be signed with WWE now. He's actually been on WWE more than he has on TNA, so I don't know. I don't know if he actually counts as a WWE superstar now. But I think they're going to add them into the game. People that have been seen on WWE television from TNA as well recently, like Moose, Mustafa Ali, Mike Santana, Ash by Elegance, maybe Masha Slamovich if she doesn't have any controversy surrounding her, maybe. The Iconics, or the Inspiration as they're known as now. There's so many TNA superstars, man, that they can add into next year's game. It could be like how SmackDown vs. Raw 2008 was WWE featuring ECW, WWE featuring TNA, WWE 226. That's something that I think everyone, including myself, really wants to see. Okay, and I gotta check. Was it from NXT last night what you were talking about? Said you guys see the Hardy segment in NXT. It's amazing. It's just a video, but it's amazing. Yeah, let me know what you're talking about there. But I'll definitely. I'm gonna check out NXT after I end the stream here. Probably here soon. Probably ain't gonna go on much longer than maybe about 20 minutes tops. I don't have much else to say really. I do kind of want to get into DLC predictions with you and the others who can't chat right now. But I'm gonna wait. It says 0 people, so I think you temporarily left. I'm gonna wait till you message back here. Okay, sorry guys, are we back? I think I left, but I think I'm back. Okay. Sorry guys, I did not mean to close out YouTube. Sorry if it lagged there. My bad. One person. Did you say anything? I'm trying to look. I'm here. Okay. Alright. Yeah, if you're talking about the Hardy Boys NXT segment, I'll have to watch that after the stream's over. I'll definitely check it out. But the last thing I want to get into with all you guys before we head out, I know you guys can't comment, which is unfortunate, but I will figure that out in the meantime. But before we end the stream tonight, I would like to get into DLC predictions wise. For all you guys that actually keep up with the wrestling games and WWE 2K26, I want to make a prediction like for TNA DLC pack. Could we see something like Joe Hendry, the Hardy Boys, Moose, and Mustafa Ali, or even Nick Nemeth, or somebody like that? That is TNA, but also they were formerly in WWE for most of them. Moose, not really, but you know what I mean. TNA superstars that should be in a WWE video game, like a bunch of people. They could even add TNA AJ Styles for free next year. I feel like we deserve that after a lot of people could not get that card this year because it was just so dang expensive. I couldn't get it. There was only a few people I saw online that really took the time and money to spend to actually gain that TNA AJ Styles card. I was not doing all that. I'm a grinder myself, and I don't even do that. I ain't spending the money to get that. Those packs were expensive, and those cards on the card market are just as expensive. So I was like, I'm not doing that. But if they could add some older TNA personas, like an AJ Styles, I don't really know who else is a good example, but some TNA guys who are in WWE right now, and then also like maybe a TNA version of R-Truth because he was there too, wasn't he? So like different people like that, and then also of course current TNA roster members, just like that used to be in WWE or even maybe not. So just many different people like that for sure. And then I would also think about like some kind of women's DLC if they could potentially sell that out. I was thinking something along the lines of like a women's revolution pack. Maybe we get, or evolution they could call it, since they got the all women's PLE evolution. I was thinking maybe we could have I know a lot of people want Tori Wilson. I think Kelly would be good. AJ Lee, she's gonna be in that. AJ Lee's got to be DLC locked for sure. Because they're definitely bringing her back. Tori Wilson, Kelly, AJ Lee, Layla, so we can create like Lay Cool, whatever it was, with like the tag team with Layla and Michelle McCool. Definitely Layla. Jacqueline, because I heard that she signed a Legends deal like before 2K25 came out, but she didn't get added. So I think Jacqueline will probably be added in 2K26. Maybe Ivory as well, because they shared a game I think in like 2K19 and 2K20. Something like that. Both Ivory and Jacqueline. That's about like 6 females I named right there. I don't know if you guys can think of any more people, but like 5 or 6 women in one DLC pack, I would definitely do that. You said, I think for TNA pack, we get the Hardys, Joe Hendry, Moose. Yeah, so I also mentioned guys like Mustafa Ali and Nick Nemeth too. But I like where your head's at. Yeah, I basically said those names. The TNA version of Archer is pretty much the same as Ruiz. Gotcha. I mean, he might have they could at least call him Wrong Killings and give him shorter. If we could get Wrong Killings as a Persona card, that'd be great because they didn't give it to us this year. The closest thing we got was Ron Cena, and that wasn't enough. That was literally before he turned heel or whatever. So, whatever. Gosh, what other? I said a TNA DLC. I said like a Women's Revolution or Evolution type of DLC, something like that. What other DLC? Like some kind of Legends pack, I would assume, right? Whether it's ECW, WCW, they've been doing that lately. Saturn's Main Event pack again, whatever they want to call it. I think people like AJ Lee are locked to be. They could make an NXT DLC pack, which they haven't done in a couple years too, with a bunch of Rising Stars or Future Stars pack, whatever they want to call it. It could include people like Ricky Saints, Blake Monroe, Carmen Petrovich, Izzy Dame, Nico Vance. If they want to add like full calling in there, get them. Trying to think, Ricky Saints, Blake Monroe. They went this year. Who's another one? Trying to think. Like Zarya. I know Julia Stimmy, Valkyrie, Jordan Grace, they got added to the game this year, but where's Zarya? Add Zarya in there too. I feel like Zarya will probably be base game, most likely, but could add her in DLC if you want. Trying to think if there's more. He has a message back in a minute. I think he might be doing something now. But, yeah, I'm thinking like NXT, TNA, Women's, maybe a Legends pack if you want to list off some Legends that you can name. If there's some kind of retro WCW, ECW pack that they could come up with. Like we had the WCW pack in 2K24, and we had the ECW Punk pack and stuff like that. Do you think they would do something like that again for 2K26 DLC lineup? I don't know. And then usually they do 5 packs, so the 5th pack could be some kind of celebrity pack with like I could see Jelly Roll, Nitro Speed getting added more than likely. Maybe Kai Cenat, although they're gonna do Nitro Speed, probably do him. I think if they add 2 celebrities, it'll probably be them too. I think it'll be because Jelly Roll competed at the last 2 SummerSlams, and then or he was there like he competed at last year's SummerSlam, and he was there at 24. So yeah, Jelly Roll was like becoming the new Mr. SummerSlam basically. Um, Jelly Roll, and then Isha Speed because he did compete in the 2025 Royal Rumble match earlier this year where he got absolutely clobbered and destroyed by Braun Breaker, and then Otis made it even worse. So, yeah, Isha Speed, he would be funny just like to have as a meme guy in the game where you hit like 100 spears from Braun Breaker to Isha Speed or something. Hit 100 finishers on Isha Speed. I could see those videos just right now. That would be a lot. That would get a lot of views for both content creators and also 2K. So I could definitely see them adding ISO Speed in there, both YouTube and gaming wise. It would be good all around. Um, and then yeah, Jelly Roll because I'm a big fan of Jelly Roll. I'd love to see him get out into the game personally. He's kind of a celebrity meme guy too, but you know what? I mean, why not? You know they're gonna do that anyway. You know they will. So why not just go ahead and get it over with? Do it for one more year, and then after that, I could care less. Because I'm just see them two getting added personally. I don't know if they'll add anybody else, but it'd be funny if they add Jake Paul in the game since I know he hasn't really been seen on WWE but one time, but he is related to Logan Paul, so it'd be funny if they had Jake Paul in the game out of nowhere, but I doubt it. I'm just rambling off at this point. I'm guessing you're talking about the TNA pack, right, BJC? Said I think to sell copies for 2K26, make the pack the pre-order for 2K25. Are you saying make the TNA pack the pre-order for 2K26? I think you meant. Yeah, that would sell copies for someone like me, if they do keep it on Xbox One and they make the TNA pack the pre-order bonus, I'm gonna be like, ooh, I have to get it now. Like I have to get it ASAP, dude. If they're gonna market it that way and include a TNA pack with like retro AJ and then like 5 or 6 modern day wrestlers, I would get that, dude. Yeah. If that's the way they're gonna do it, then sign me up. That would definitely get a lot of people interested in buying the game for sure. So as someone like me who's not even like, I'm kind of 50-50 on if I even want to buy 2K26 at this point. I probably will most likely if it is on my console, but if not, I may have to wait a couple years before I ever get to play a game again. What I think I will start doing from now on, once the new games come out, and I don't have any way to play it, I think what I might do is do some days where I just go back and play like some really old wrestling video games. I'm thinking about getting like 2K15 and 2K16. I don't know about 17, but at least 15 and 16, maybe 17. I'm thinking about getting some of those games on the Xbox One and streaming games from 2K25, obviously, but all the way back to WWE 2K15, basically going back in time 10 years, seeing how that compares to games now. Because there are certain things about 2K15 that are better than 2K25, like the showcase mode, for example. 2K15 had probably my favorite showcase mode, in my opinion. I loved the one in 15, 14, and 16, but 2K15, for one thing, had a better showcase mode. And like you said, 2K17 and 2K18 don't have a showcase, so that's why I don't care about those games. 2K17 had a DLC showcase, but it's not like I can really play it, so yeah, you basically said what I was going to say. Like, 2K18 doesn't have one, and 2K17 I can't play it, so yeah. I could get 2K17, but it would literally just be gameplay with the roster, and I feel like after a while that would get boring. So, if anything, I'll probably just do 2K15 and 2K16. I'll get that for the Xbox One, and then if y'all want, because I know I have one guy that's interested, I'm going to stream some old showcase modes for you guys. Just to have some have a little fun with some of these older games, And then I also want to reincorporate Universe mode into those as well, because I know 2K18, 2K19, I really love the Universe mode in those games, especially 2K18 for whatever reason. I actually like the Universe mode in 2K18 better than 2K19. That might be a wild opinion, but 2K18 was the last game that actually had like cutscenes completely randomized. 2K19 made it to where you had to like kind of do it more manually, but I just really love 2K18's universe mode for whatever reason. I was actually like creating storylines in my head as it was going along too. I think I have a note about it still, where I was gonna like have the Shield and like the League of Nations fight in 2K18 or something. It was something crazy because they were feuding with the bar, and I was gonna do something there. But yeah, like 2K18 universe mode was getting really fun for me, and I haven't gone back. I haven't gone back and played it in a while. But if I do, I might honestly stream that for you guys to see, both on Twitch and then also I'll put it on YouTube as well for you guys, for your guys viewing pleasures. So yeah, I'm strongly considering on doing that. Um, Going back and playing 2K15, 2K16 showcase, maybe even 2K19. Really a lot of stuff with 2K19, whether it's universe. I could also do 2K19 My Career because I don't know if you know this, but 2K19 has like a goated My Career mode. I would love to go back and replay that, dude, because that was fun. Um, I haven't gone back and played 2K20's My Career, but I heard a lot of people say it's garbage anyway, just like the game itself. And then 2K18's My Career, I'm actually kind of stuck on it right now. There's a Royal Rumble match where I have to win from number one, and it's super difficult. But but if I can for you guys, if you want to see me do that, I can go back to 2K18 My Career and some older games that had My Career mode in it. Because I think 2K15 and 2K16 on Xbox One also had My Career, which I've never played before. Because I'm used to playing the would have been the last gen versions of those games at the time, which had other stuff than My Career. I forget what VJC was telling me about it one day, but like the new gen and the old gen versions of those games had each something different. So like 2K, the new gen had like My Career, and then the old gen had something different, you know. So there was something to enjoy from it. I think last gen had like more match types. I think that's what it was, because last gen had it's still for me. I could still play like special dress referee matches, Inferno matches, stuff like that. I could play that all the way up till 2K17 on the PS3. But I think if you get that on Xbox One, I don't think it comes with that. I think it comes with like My Career instead. So there's just something a little bit to enjoy for everyone. I'm gonna go back and I have that on last gen, but I'm gonna go back and get it on new gen like Xbox One console and be able to do extra stuff that I've never actually been able to play before, for you guys to watch and hopefully enjoy if you like that type of content. So um, yeah, guys, is there anything else? Let's see. Apparently, Ali's contract with TNA will be up at the end of 2025. Ooh, Mustafa Ali. I wonder if he would ever consider going back to WWE. That's interesting. The Dan Brown Showcase 2K19, yes, because I was talking about that earlier. So like you were talking about streaming 2K15, 2K16 Showcase, which I most definitely will do because those are like probably my two favorite Showcase modes. So I do not mind doing that at all. I can play those all day. I could even do it on Legend difficulty for the heck of it. Why not? Um, why not, honestly? But definitely I might consider going back to 2K19 Showcase as well because it did have a showcase dedicated to Daniel Bryan when he first came back to WWE as a in-ring performer that year. So had all the way up to like WrestleMania 34 and stuff. Like, so it was pretty fun. It had some even retro arenas too. Like, it had WrestleMania 30 in his moment there. I don't remember if WrestleMania 31 was included, but I know WrestleMania 30. Um, some like SummerSlam, Raw, SmackDown arena, stuff like that. Some NXT ones. It had a lot of stuff in that 2K19 showcase, so that's always really fun to go back and play. Um, there's a lot of stuff to do in 2K19, whether it's I guess that's why it's such a good game for content, because you got My Career, you got Showcase, you got Universe Mode, you even just got Simple Exhibition where you can play all the dream matches that your heart desires. 2K19 is a game that I'm strongly considering on going back and revisiting, because 2K19 just had it all, man. It really did. I've always said it's overrated, but now that I'm thinking about everything it has, I mean, that game was worth it, man. And actually, I took it for granted, man. And the 2K20, we know how garbage that game was. So, which I didn't have any problems with it, truthfully, but I know a lot of people it did not work. I didn't experience any of the game breaking glitches. Luckily, I was good there, but still was a step down for 2K19. The controls in 2K20 were god awful, where you have to like hold two buttons for signature and finisher versus just the one. So that was difficult to get used to. Although it's like that now, but at least the trigger is easier. Like you don't have to do it. It had the trigger reversals then, but now it's for the finisher and stuff. They changed the controls around a lot from 2K like 17, 2K18 to 2K20 to 2K22, and it's basically what we have now in 2K25 with some additions and some subtractions and stuff. So they've changed stuff around. I started doing the Cenaverse Punk 2K15 showcase again. Nice. Nice. I don't even know which showcase mode I love more because I love the Cena vs Punk showcase. It includes a bunch of other guys too, but those are the main two. It's got like I think what like Alberto Del Rio, weirdly enough, Ryback, Rey Mysterio. It's got some other stuff in there too, but yeah, John Cena vs CM Punk, that was such a great showcase. And then I also loved the DX showcase mode where you had Triple H and Shawn Michaels because you had some great matches in that showcase mode, dude. There was like the one where I think it ends on like a 3 stages of hell match or whatever it is, and it ends on that. Like that was great. I wonder if that's why they don't ever want to try that again. You bring up a good point. 2K20 was also the first game that 2K made completely by themselves. And you saw how much of a failure that turned out to be. So maybe they're scared if they take all the stuff away from THQ that they basically have no game. It's not even their game. Like a lot of the cutscenes in universe mode that you'll notice, it's taken from THQ. Hmm, that's interesting. And My Rise, even though they changed the name of it from My Career, it's basically the exact same carbon copy paste thing too. The only thing is they took away the free roam and added the phones, which makes it a heck of a lot worse. I would much rather have free roam and backstage brawls and all that back over the cell phones and social media any day of the week. Because even though they tried to make it realistic to real life, that part sucks. Oh, Hell in a Cell was the last match. That's what it was. Okay, my bad. My apologies. But yeah, that even though those showcases in 2K15 were great, I know. I think you said your favorite was 2K16. I think I actually like 2K15 a little more, honestly, just because it had two. 2K15 was the only game I think that had two showcases, so I loved that extra twice as much because both of them were great. I didn't really like one more than the other. They were both great. Um, it's just one you had more current day, which CM Punk wasn't even supposed to be in the game. He had got released the year prior, and he wasn't even supposed to really be in the game, but because of the showcase mode and everything they did with him, he got to be in there next year. So that was really cool. But then unfortunately, he ended up getting removed at 2K16. So oh well. Couldn't get the dream match with him and Stone Cold Steve Austin in a showcase. That sucks. Maybe next year, but um, I don't know. Do you think they'll? That's another thing to think about too. Who do you think will be the showcase star next year? There's guys they could do like Undertaker, Hulk Hogan, Bray Wyatt. It's possible they could do CM Punk. Um, maybe AJ Styles. I don't see them doing John Cena again because they did that in 2K23, but they could do AJ Styles and incorporate TNA stuff. Just saying. We talked about that. I mean, that's always a possibility. Um, there's different stuff you can do with that. Yeah. There's a lot of different possibilities. I could see them doing guys who've already passed away, like Bray Wyatt, Hulk Hogan come to mind. I think Bray Wyatt I'd rather see personally just because there's so many characters that you can incorporate from Bray Man. His Eater of Worlds, his Firefly Funhouse, The Fiend. You could incorporate dream matches that we've never seen, like The Fiend versus the Demon or something crazy like that we never got. I mean, they could also include The Fiend versus Finn from like SummerSlam, whatever it was. And I would say Fiend versus Braun Strowman, but Braun Strowman probably won't be in there, unfortunately. I wish we could have the Wyatt family, but the only problem is, can they get the rights to use Luke Harper, Brody Lee? Be the only thing. They could try to include the OG Wyatt family match with the Shield, which has John Moxley in it. Gosh, only reason I hate AEW is because they don't let WWE use any of their people. If we had Brody Lee and John Moxley in the games, and if you think about it, we could do so much with the showcase modes, man. But they're probably not gonna be in there, which takes all the fun out of it. They can give us some copied matches from 2K19 showcase where we had like Bray Wyatt versus Daniel Bryan in that steel cage match. But then he's also in AEW. Like that takes all the fun out of it, dude. I'm just sitting here realizing that. I would love them to redo the Attitude Era showcase with today's graphics, or even a Monday Night Wars showcase. Yes, because WWE 13 introduced showcase mode, if y'all don't know, and it did actually have an Attitude Era mode showcase, and it was actually pretty great. I would say it wasn't as good as 2K14 showcase, but it was pretty good. It had a lot of really cool cutscenes in it. I like the one where you have like a backstage brawl match with like Mankind and Rock. That was really fun. I think it was a Falls Count Anywhere or some kind of no DQ match, unsanctioned match, but that was a really fun one to do because it had like a forklift spot or whatever. But yeah, just overall, man, WWE 13 showcase mode That was a great one, and if they could pull that off somehow with enough wrestlers and better graphics than they had 10 years ago, that could actually be a showcase that would be worth watching. And if you could even incorporate it with WCW, if you need to, make it a Monday Night Wars showcase, I feel like that's even better. Book it. I think that'd be great. Um, they could also do a Ruthless Aggression Era showcase mode. My only worry is they wouldn't be able to use superstars like Edge, for example, if he's in AW. He would have been a big part of that. They got Brock back in the game, which will help. You get the rise of Brock. I wonder if they'll do a Brock Lesnar showcase. That's always a possibility. Probably not this late. Maybe 2K27. I could see it though. If they have Brock on the cover for 2K27 and give him a showcase like 10 years later, that'd be funny. They should have had a Brock Lesnar showcase 2K17. Honestly, I know it was. I think it was supposed to happen, then it didn't end up working out. But yeah, Brock Lesnar showcase would be good too, because they could include his rise from like 2002 and 2003, and then his return 2014 against Cena, 13 or 14, whenever that was. Then his more recent stuff, his stuff with Roman Reigns, obviously, that he had like 3 or 4 matches with him at WrestleMania, so could include all that. He's had matches with like Triple H. He had the match with The Undertaker. Now I'm thinking about Brock Lesnar would have a good showcase. Kurt Angle showcase. I feel like that'd be similar to what I was saying about AJ Styles earlier in a way. Because not only could you include stuff that Kurt Angle did in WWE from the Attitude Era to the early Ruthless Aggression Era, but you could also include some of his stuff that he did in TNA in the late 2000s as well. If they could somehow include some of the guys like from Main Event Mafia in there, when he had that, I think he was with like Bobby Roode and James Storm or whatever during that time period. That would be really cool. He had matches with guys like AJ Styles. I think Samoa Joe was there too, which they wouldn't probably do him, but you know, he's there. So there's a lot of possibilities with both either AJ Styles or Kurt Angle. I think they both are good arguments for a showcase mode for sure. I just realized I keep walking by that light and it's really bright. I'm so sorry. I'm just walking around in my room because I'm bored and I'm trying to ease myself. I might switch the room I'm in, but it's okay. There's so many guys you can put on a showcase, dude. I'm thinking of all the endless possibilities. I think the number one showcase I want personally, which I kind of just said, is The Undertaker. Just because you could easily make a WrestleMania streak showcase of him in 2K26. Have it be all of the opponents he defeated and even some of the ones he lost to. Like, you could include his Brock and Taker matches where he lost and be like, every good thing has to come to an end. That can be the whole motto of it. That could be the game motto. I just called it. Every good thing comes to an end, or something along those lines. And you could have the showcase be The Undertaker, because the streak ended. Mind blown, I guarantee it. No, I'm joking. But imagine it actually happens. I did kind of realize, I went back to Brock Lesnar's, my reaction to his return at SummerSlam when that happened earlier this year. I went back to that, and I actually realized that I called it at the beginning of the stream, before SummerSlam even started that night. And I was just like, well, what if Brock Lesnar showed up? I mean, and then I go to my reaction later and I'm like, what? I was going to figure out how to clip it, but the thing was, you can only clip live streams that we collaborate on. So, like, for example, it was our MyGM mode stream. That's why when I went to it, I was able to clip it because I did gameplay and MyGM, and I added you as a collaborator on it. So that's why it let me do it. And I think it lets me do it on the other MyGM videos when I go back to it as well. But the thing is, when it's just a video that I did personally and I made it like not for kids, because that's usually what I do, is like when it's, well, actually I don't know if that works now, because I noticed that when I googled it and I was researching, when it's made for kids it doesn't let you clip anything either. But I think there's some kind of setting I'm missing to where it wouldn't let me clip it unless if it was one of those MyGM videos we collaborated on, or any of the live streams like me and Leo collaborated on. It didn't let me clip any of those for whatever reason. So I was going to go back and do it, but it didn't give me the option to like it did for those other videos. So I don't know. It only lets you do it on certain ones for some reason. I was going to, but it didn't let me. So I tried. I just couldn't figure it out. You could do current conversation styles. Exactly. Yeah. How about doing a rivalry showcase like 2K15? Yeah, because 2K15, like we were just talking about, it had 2 rivalry showcases. So, I mean, what rivalry could you do? You had Triple H for Shawn Michaels already. Ooh, what if you do John Cena versus AJ Styles? If there's enough for it. Gallows and Harrison won't be in there though. But you could try to include Cena's their trilogy of matches. Their three matches with SummerSlam 2016, Royal Rumble 2017, and Crown Jewel just recently. And if you could include other promos in there, I just don't know if there's a whole lot they can put in there. Enzo and Cass wouldn't be in there. Gallows and Harrison wouldn't be in there. So that's the only thing that I'm not really sure. Maybe, and they don't even have to do it that with that one. That's just one that came to mind. But they could do. I keep thinking of Triple H or Shawn Michaels, but no. What about like they did John Cena versus CM Punk, but what about John Cena versus Randy Orton? Because they've had plenty of matches too. So what if they had one with both Cena and Orton? I think Randy Orton is one of those guys I didn't talk about. He deserves his own showcase mode, rather. Not even just a rivalry showcase with John Cena, but as a matter of fact, his own showcase mode. It could include his debut from like 2002 when he was when he was just coming up. Basically, he didn't really have much of a gimmick or character or anything like that. He was just kind of there. And then his rise to stardom, his heel run in 2009 and 2000, like during the pandemic era with Drew and stuff. And then some of his more recent stuff, like when he fought Cena at Backlash earlier this year. There's a lot of stuff they could do with Randy Orton. That's funny. Leo just texted us. By the way, is that your I want to go ahead and ask you right now. You just is that your number that he added? I just want to make sure because I know he said it, but I think I added your contact info and everything on there because I got. Oh, that's funny. They never did a Triple H showcase. You're right. The closest thing we got was Triple H for Shawn Michaels I was talking about, but we never got a Shawn Michaels solo one, did we? Either one of them as just their solo careers without all the DX stuff. Yeah, okay, I was just wondering. Um, like they had the DX one in there, but what if you have two separate showcase modes, but not as a rivalry showcase like 2K15? Because I don't want them to copy that like pretty much match for match. Like they don't have to do all that. What if it's just their separate solo careers? It can still give us a bunch of alternate tires for both of them, and then the unlockable at the end can be like a bonus match with like they could honestly include DX vs Brothers Destruction in there, but be able to make it better, than actually was in real life because we all know how that match actually turned to IRL. It wasn't too great, but different stuff here. I still have all my sticky notes laid out from everything I talked about earlier. We've been going on here for like almost an hour and a half now. I'm probably gonna wrap it up here shortly, but I don't know if there's like anything else that I can think of that we haven't talked about yet, whether it's features, game modes like My Rise Showcase, My Faction, Universe, My GM, the Creation Suite. I'm trying to think if there's like any extra quality of life features that you guys would love to see. I've talked about a lot of stuff in here, I feel like, even in just like this short hour and 23 minutes or so that I've been going live now. So, I mean, I can end it right here if you really want. If there's anything else that y'all have for me before I get out of here, then I can talk about it. Like you said, I would pick 3 wrestlers and do 3 solo showcases. That's not a bad idea either. We were talking about Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Randy Orton. You could do that. You could do any kind of rivalry showcase. You could do historic moments like Undertaker streak. You could do deceased wrestlers like Bray Wyatt, Hulk Hogan. There are just so many endless possibilities with Showcase. That's why I love it too, dude. Showcase has always been my favorite mode since I started playing in like 2K16, and then I went back and got 2K15 and so on. And I love Road to WrestleMania just as much too, dude. So I kind of want both of them in there, not gonna lie. But my guess is if they ever bring back Road to WrestleMania, they're probably gonna have to replace Showcase. Because I have a feeling they might combine My Rise and the Island as well as Universe and My GM at some point. So they don't need like too many story modes in there. I doubt we're gonna have both Showcase and Road to WrestleMania. My Rise and Road to WrestleMania are honestly kind of the same thing. It's just Road to WrestleMania was a lot better because you were able to do free roam backstage and not have to be stuck in your cell phones with social media like I am right now. Like Road to WrestleMania had a lot more cooler stuff than My Rise did, even though it's basically the same thing. But and then I worry that Showcase is coming to its end because they tried doing it this year and it turned out okay. I think my favorite part of the entire Showcase this year was just the fact that they were able to bring out that WrestleMania 40 cutscene, dude, with Cody Rhodes at the end, him finishing the story. They had all the run-ins in there, and you were able to play it out, like with The Rock and John Cena and The Undertaker, dude. Cody going after Roman Reigns. They had it all in-game cutscenes, man. That was so good to be able to like watch at the beginning. I even posted a video of like my reaction to it, like kind of opening up Showcase for the first time. It's like a 10-minute clip I got on my channel somewhere. Um, but yeah, that was so fun being able to watch and play through all that. That was great. How about DLC showcases? See, if that was the thing nowadays, I probably would buy it, knowing me. Because I love showcases and I love buying DLC. So put them together and what do you got? Yeah. Um, I would, but they have to make them good. That's the only thing. I'm not going to buy a DLC showcase if I hear it's like the Mark Henry showcase that they added in 2K15. Supposedly, from what I heard, it wasn't very good. I could be wrong because I never actually played it, but from what I heard from other people, it wasn't very limited. I know you played it, so you might be able to tell me, but yeah, I couldn't tell you. And then also, I love the part. I also love that 2K got rid of the slingshot technology. Yes, 100%. Being able to have in-game cutscenes is so much better, like 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times better than having the stupid slingshot technology. And it's a lot easier to be able to stream on YouTube if you want. Nowadays, you can actually stream the matches if you want, since there's no slingshot tech in there that cuts to real life footage that you can't put on YouTube. So, because it gets copyrighted. Versus in-game cutscenes, I don't think that gets copyrighted. The only thing that from showcases now that gets copyrighted is the in-between promo video packages that they show. So I would have to take all that out if I wanted to post it. But yeah. The Mark Henry DLC showcases and the other DLC showcases that were for 2K15 I thought were too short. Yeah, that's what I heard too, that they weren't very long. Like they only, like the Hall of Pain showcase that they tried to make for Mark Henry in 2K15, they just had very limited amount of matches. I wouldn't buy a DLC showcase if it only had like 5 matches. I think it was the same thing with 2K20 and their DLC showcases in a way for the weird looking characters like the robots and the zombies that they added in 2K20 or whatever, because supposedly you only played like 5 matches to unlock them. So it's just like you play it one time and you're done. You never do it again. I wouldn't want to do that. If they did DLC showcases right, which they never have done, 2K15 and 2K20, those weren't good examples, and 2K17 as well. Those weren't very good examples of DLC showcase. But if they figured out how to do it the right way, I think it could be used pretty well. The island is basically the 2K20, whatever they called it, the towers. You know what I'm talking about? That had the weird characters unlocked in it. That's basically what the island is in 2K25, pretty much. It's basically from 2K20, but yeah. It's just now they have stories implemented into it or whatever, but you know. The DLC showcase had about 9 or 10 matches each. Okay. It's not too bad, but it'd definitely be nice if it had at least like, I'd say 20 minimum. Did the Bloodline showcase? Let me check real quick. Sorry if the light's kind of bright. My apologies, but I'm gonna check for you while I'm here. The Bloodline showcase has exactly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, a total of 17 matches in this year's Bloodline showcase in WWE 2K25. 17 matches. I think it would actually be 18 counting the opening cutscene because that was not included when I looked at it. But counting the opening cutscene for WrestleMania 40 and the Tribal Gauntlet match that you do at the end, spoiler if you haven't played the 2K25 showcase, but oh well. That is a total of 18 or so matches that you play through in this year's showcase. I would say that would be my minimum for me. Maybe 18. But I think at least 20 matches, at least twice as much as you said was in that DLC showcase for 2K15, that would probably be enough. But 9, 10 matches, I don't think that would cut it for me. Because that sounds like that would be not enough content to do. That'd be very short. When a normal showcase typically has 18 matches, a DLC showcase only having 10 matches, I don't know how I feel about that. So, it would have to have the exact same amount of matches, pretty much. length for length as the normal showcases would. Otherwise, it wouldn't be worth it. The normal and DLC showcases should both have like 18 matches for me to say like, oh, that's worth buying and playing through. And if it's good enough, then it'll be something that has replay value. Then I would actually go through and play it multiple times. You know what I'm saying? So I was gonna end it right there because we reached the 1 hour and a half minute mark. But this is probably gonna be like my last and final chance of giving you like any last questions, thoughts, comments, concerns, anything at all that you or anyone else in the comments watching this after the fact would like to discuss about what you love about WWE 2K25 and what you would love to see get added into WWE 2K26. Because if they don't add some of these stuff, at least that I mentioned, plus more, I don't even know if I'm going to get the game or not. Because if it's literally the same thing as 2K25, then y'all, like, what's the point? All it's going to be is an updated My Rise showcase mode and a different roster, but that's pretty much the exact same game. So what would be the point, y'all? They have to add either create a story or these match types that I brung up earlier. Something. I was really surprised when they announced Underground Blood Rules matches that were going to be in 225. I thought for sure we were getting like I Quit matches, Buried Alive matches. We haven't got that yet, and I want to see some of that. Iron Survivor especially. I need to see that. So, if I'm going to get the game personally, and if I even think it's worth it, because if it's not on Xbox One or PS4, then I'm definitely not getting it anyways. So, I think maybe they'll get rid of PS4, but maybe they'll keep Xbox One. I'm hopeful, but again, I doubt it. If 2K doesn't move on to 2K26, they definitely will for 2K27, because one of these days they're going to have to hang the shelf on those older consoles so they can actually be able to upgrade the hardware, being able to give us what we want in these games. One thing I liked about Stone Cold Showcase had matches from WCW and ECW too. Yeah, he had like Stun and Steve Austin with Brian Pillman, that tag team, the Hollywood Blondes, and then you had ECW Superstar Steve Austin. Yeah, I loved that too, dude. Yeah. Such a small little thing that they added, but you could actually use it in exhibition, and I was like, that's kind of cool. You know, that's worth it. Just like a one-off character like that. Like how you get the prototype if you pre-order 2K23 or whatever. I don't think they had it in 24, but like you had prototype John Cena, Leviathan, Batista. You just had like random versions of those characters, you know, that were like one-offs. And so like that was kind of cool to go back and play through. 2K16 Showcase had that with Stone Cold Steve Austin, so yeah. Gosh, I pretty much mentioned everything. Let me know down in the comments below, guys, if you would like to see anything else in WWE 2K26 I have not already mentioned in this live stream. It's gone on like an hour 33 minutes or so now as you're watching this. I think I'm going to get out of here because I need to get some rest. But take care, everyone. Love you all. Peace out. Deuces, yeet, and most of all, have a good night.